Well, there we go, folks. It's finished. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Leeds United 0 at Molineux this evening. Another big 3 points for Wolves. The first time we've won back-to-back games in the Premier League since, I think we beat Leeds last in October. So another huge 3 points, guys. 10 points out of a possible 12 now. And you know what? Especially that first half, a really decent performance. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, guys, and let me know your thoughts on tonight's victory. We look at the starting lineup to kick off with, and we saw Rui Patricio starting goal. It was actually an unchanged team, from the last game, but Patricio in goal. We saw Johnny again at left wing back. Three centre backs of Sace, Cody, and Dendonka with Semedo at right wing back. Ruben Neves and Jean Martino in the middle with Neto, Adama, and Willian Jose up front. And we saw Neto and Adama set up with like how they ended the last game against Southampton. So sort of on opposite wings, we saw obviously Adama on the left and Neto on the right. And I've got to say, for the first sort of, I'm going to say the first half in general, we looked really, really decent. And it was a complete opposite, really, of that last game at Elland Road, where we sat so deep for the first half, soaked up all that pressure, and then got less Leeds in the second half. But yeah, today we were sort of on it. First 25 minutes, half an hour especially, we were really on the front foot, had some really good opportunities. In particular, you could say Nelson Semedo had two good chances. One in particular where he sort of shot it straight at the goalkeeper, and another one at a tighter angle where he's forced to save. But we were just, the amount of chances we were having, the amount of shots that we were taking, compared to some other games that we've seen in the previous weeks, that was really positive. And from a fan's point of view, I thought, the only thing missing from that first half really was a goal. Leeds tended to be quite sloppy, but they just always offer that scare and that threat. And Patricio, I've got to say, had a really good game to keep Leeds at bay. Just the way they moved the ball at times, just how they got from one end to the pitch to another was really, really difficult to deal with for Wolves at times throughout the 90. In particular, when they went direct, I was really disappointed with how we dealt with a number of their aerial balls, to be honest, throughout the game as well. But to go in at half-time at 0-0, you saw Neto, Adama in particular, those two have a number of shots, obviously Semedo as well. And I don't know if you guys saw the quote, obviously, earlier in the week where Pedro Neto's mom has been telling him to take more shots at goal. I think he's obviously listened to her advice, because he just seemed to get himself in decent areas. A little bit frustrating for me from Neto throughout in small pockets of the 90, where he just slowed the game and the play down a little bit and just gave the wall away a little bit cheaply. You could also say, obviously, the same for Adama most weeks, but I'm just used to almost seeing Neto have an immaculate performance, and I think he was good today. He offered a really, really good threat. I just wanted him to be a little bit more urgent at times, a little bit more direct. To go into the second half as well, there was a big chance where Neto was on the wing and Willian Jose in the middle of the goal with so much space, and Neto ignored him. And it'll go back to the argument that Willian Jose still hasn't had a goal contribution, but when he's not really getting the service, other than the Palace game, I can't really remember games where he's had a really good attempt on goal. So yeah, today could have been that chance. I think Neto possibly and probably should have squared it for him. But we did get that rub of the green in the end through Adama Traore, who just every time he gets on the ball, just makes something happen. He's such an exciting player to watch at times. And today, it was just like, whenever we had the ball, or whenever he was getting involved or got the ball, I felt like, we're in pole position, we're gonna do something. He had just, whenever it was quiet spells, and whenever he wasn't getting involved too much, especially towards the end of the first half, I just felt like if we give Adama a bit more of the ball, especially on that right-hand side. I don't think we on sort of Leeds' right-hand side, our left. I don't think we tested them enough there the first half. But his goal, obviously it's a shame that it will go down as an own goal, but you can ignore the actual way it went into the back of the net and appreciate how well he worked off the ball to shrug off again 3 or 4 players, gets that shot away, a beautiful strike, hits off a woodwork, and fortunately for us, hits off the back of the young goalkeeper Meslier to give us that goal. 2 goals where, in the last game as well, we had that deflected Calvin Phillips header. Today, we get the deflection off Meslier, but yeah, really, really good, and I feel we deserve that for the hard work we put in. I said it on the preview. I think both sets of supporters would have felt this could have been a winnable game. It was a game of really fine margins, and we saw that again with Bamford's goal. He looked off, to be fair, well off, but it was like a Rizzler paper away, of him being offside, really. See Cody's back foot there, keeping him onside. Great finish by Bamford, you got to say, but It was the way we got done. Like I said earlier, just those aerial balls, too direct for me. And then Donker tended to struggle with them. So right at the end of the game as well, Helder Costa, obviously coming back to Molineux, should have scored. Patricio kept him at bay. Patricio made some absolutely crucial saves. You could argue a lot of them are straight at him. But yeah, he made some really, really nice stops today to keep Wolves in the game. And solid a couple of doubters. There are some doubters for Rui out there, and some doubters for the likes of Semedo I thought was very decent today as well. But overall, I think the performance was really, really solid. We rode our luck a little bit at times, but we created enough, and I think that first half performance especially warranted us getting the 3 points today. In terms of individual performances, I think I've pointed out a number of plays. Obviously, Patricio I thought was great. Semedo offered a lot down that right-hand side. I think it favoured him because Leeds, Leeds were quite open, to be fair. Whenever they attacked, it allowed Wolves to just play with a little bit more space and time. For the midfield two, Martinho and Neves today, I think a lot of people before the game, like pre-match, would have expected them to have a really difficult game with how energetic Leeds are. But I felt they coped quite well. The technique of both of them, and just the calibre of those two today was fantastic. Obviously, Johnny getting a really good amount of time again on the left hand side of the defence, which is good. Marçal, it's his birthday today, so happy birthday! But he's come off injured again after 15 minutes or so. I don't know. He's a good player, Marçal. I think we all know he's a good player, but we can't be. I think if Wolves, obviously, if Aït-Nouri we let Aït-Nouri go back to France, I don't think you can rely on Marçal to be a backup to Johnny. Maybe we rely on the likes of Ryan Giles next season, or we look to bring someone else in. But everybody else, I thought Jose, again, he's going to probably get a little bit of stick for not getting that goal contribution, but I felt his link-up play today was very solid. A couple of decent passes just to bring other players into play. I've said it time and time again, though, I just think he needs to be a little bit more selfish. There's a couple of times where he had a decent opportunity maybe to have a shot on goal and he lays it off. I think there was one chance towards the end for Martinho. Just for me, I mean, I'm not a striker coach, but for me, get a turn, get your shot away. We've seen how powerful his strikes can be when he's playing in Spain, so I'm hoping we'll see some of that soon. But guys, 3 points. It's going to be a happy weekend for me as a Wolves fan, and we move on to obviously the next game next week as well. Be sure to hit the like button, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all very, very soon.